Sonic Racing CrossWorlds had the Open Network test, which was live at the weekend at the end of September. This basically allowed people to play the game for free on PC, PS5, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. Not on Switch 2, weirdly. So I've done a deep dive into both PC and Switch 1 version to see the exact differences in terms of graphical quality. On the PC version, I've maxed out all the graphical settings to the highest it can possibly be, 4K resolution, 60 FPS, the best quality graphic options. So yeah, here's the comparison between the two. Since my PC can handle pretty much every game, it runs flawlessly on here, and the general quality of this game is quite good. There's a few things that I'd noticed that I was not really impressed with. For example, the NPC characters in the background, even when really close up, have this weird effect and it just doesn't really look that good. Even on the selection screen where you're choosing a course online, these NPCs are right there in your face and they're just really obvious how low quality they are. The Nintendo Switch 1 version runs at only 30 FPS and there's no confirmed resolution so far of the game, but we can assume it's between 720p to 900p in TV mode, while it's probably around 600 to 720p in handheld mode. This is all speculation, no proper numbers yet. Looking at the main menus here, you can see how all around fuzzy, blurry and just worse it looks on Switch compared to PC. It is just so much clearer. The characters look like they're out of focus on Switch, while on PC they look like they're actually supposed to be there in shot, clear. Going into some actual races, here is the loading times comparison. I guess I'm more used to 30 frames per second, but I didn't really notice too much of a difference between playing on PC and playing on Switch. It felt just as good as each other. Obviously I could tell that it was a lower frame rate, but it didn't actually feel awful to play it on Switch. There's a few minor graphical differences, which obviously there's going to be low quality textures, low quality models and low quality everything on Switch. That's just going to be a given. But one thing I found weird was, you know, these hologram 16-bit sprite 3D things that you can see in E-Stadium? Well, for some reason they have this really obvious black line going up them that just looks terrible on Switch compared to the PC version. Here is some Rainbow Garden comparisons. I don't know if it's just the position I was starting in, but the water and the reflections on it seem to be absent on Switch. So I would say that yes, this game does look very good on both PC and Switch. Obviously the Switch version is very limited considering it is an 8-year-old handheld that it is running on, so I would say it's quite impressive for the dated hardware that it is running on. I know this isn't really a review, but if you are torn between if you should buy the game or not, I would say yes. If you enjoy kart racing games, you will enjoy this game. It is very fun and chaotic, and the gameplay is so much better than Team Sonic Racing's. Now, if you have a Nintendo Switch 2, don't worry, there is a full Switch 2 release coming later on this year or in the beginning of 2026. And if you do buy the Switch 1 version on Switch 2, you can get the upgrade pack for about $10 or about £7. And it will in fact get it up to the Switch 2 standards of graphics, 60 frames per second, higher resolutions, higher quality, so you won't need to worry if you buy the Switch 1 version on Switch 2. That's going to be it for today's video. Thanks for watching, subscribe if you want to see more Sonic content, and yeah, I'm excited for this game when it finally releases in just under a month. Wow.